You got into a massive fit of the giggles because mummy has a hole in the crotch. It's a mummy Elin date. Oh God, the handbrake on Elin's wheelchair just broke, so I'm gonna have to call wheelchair services. I have a disabled child and I am allowed to take her outside, so you can just deal with it. Elin, you're gonna say good morning. No, I'm gonna have a big spasm. There's the smile. There's the smile. Where are we? We are at the retail park because we are going to Boots to see if they have medicines available for Elin. Again, it feels like we were doing this just yesterday. Yes, we did this just yesterday, it feels like. And now we have another one to chase. And also, I have to get myself a new pair of work trousers because I only have 2 pairs, and one of those pairs, well, I showed Caitlin, Elin's carer, yesterday, the hole straight through the crotch, and Elin pissed herself laughing. She thought that was the funniest thing she's ever seen. So yeah, she, once again, yes, that was your reaction, wasn't it? You got into a massive fit of the giggles because mummy has a hole in the crotch. See, she's non-verbal. Doesn't mean she does not understand. Holy trousers, particularly in an awkward place like that, really funny. Yes, it is, isn't it, sweetheart? Yes, it is. Now, I have only had 1 coffee and I also desperately need a wee. So we may very well start off. No, we're going to start off with Boots because we need to check that they have the medicine or are ordering it in. Then it's probably going to be a pit stop straight away. Oh, and by the way, it's a mummy Elin date. Yeah, we have no Alice. It's just us. Yeah. Amazing, thank you. Gotta make sure she's all safely strapped in. There's a lot of straps. This takes a while. Don't even know what time it is. Should be fine for time to get home for lunch and for Caitlin, who's coming, and then I'll be able to do some tidying and adulting. And Elin has now had her dose of Alimemazine, so hopefully she'll get a bit drowsy and have a nap because she's been sleeping so badly. She could kind of do with a nap. Anyway, time to go home. Right, I'm just trying to find the sofa so that I can get Elin out of her chair and onto my lap because that's what she needs right now. This has been vomited on, so that's going in the wash. My darling child. Yeah, so the reason Elin is back to vomiting that excessively, and I mean, it's nothing new. This is what we've been fighting with our entire life. But it is that for some reason, we're trying a new medicine with her called Alimemazine, which is an antiemetic and an antihistamine. But the idea is that it should make her vomit less and, you know, she'll start putting some weight on and everything will be hunky-dory. It is making her quite drowsy. That's the antihistamine part of it. I was umming and ahhing about, you know, the balance between no vomits versus Elin being basically a vegetable. She was starting to get used to the medicine, so I mean, at first the medicine was super effective. It really was, and we got no more vomits, but we had a very, very drowsy child. And then she started to get used to it. And so the vomiting was increasing, but not as bad as it had been before the medicine, but she was also much more alert and happy and with it. And then she ran out, and for some reason it hadn't been added to her repeat prescriptions. Her dad has been, for several days, her dad has been on the phone to the GP surgery. He's been on the phone to 111, which is the NHS helpline here in the UK. You know, eventually he managed to get a prescription request sent through yesterday. And so this is why we went to Boots today, because obviously I needed to see if they had it. And he's like, they're probably not going to have it because they need to order it in. Hang on, let me let the cat in. But I figured it would be worth going anyway, if nothing else, to just kind of get a timeline of when they would have it. We turned up at Boots. And I said, have you got a prescription request for Elin for Alimemazine? And she went, I saw it, let me have a look. So they had the prescription and they had the actual medicine in stock as well. So yes, we got hold of Alimemazine, which was the whole point of us going. Do you want to come out of your chair? Yeah, I'm trying to give Elin some more snack. Oh crap, I need to, honey, I need to heat up your food.
I am posting vlogs in the wrong order at the moment. The last vlog I posted where Elin is in hospital is actually recorded after this one. So if you're getting confused about Elin having been in hospital with lots of vomiting, and then I'm talking about getting the Alimemazine to stop her vomiting, this is why I've just posted them in the wrong order, that's all.
Oh god, the handbrake on Elin's wheelchair just broke, so I'm gonna have to call wheelchair services. Yay! You okay? Well, girl, you are feeling heavier to me. Yes, you are. You've been putting on weight. That's good, despite the last few days of mucho vomiting. Well, your food has been heated up and it's now cooling down, which is also palaver, but there you go, with blended diet. So the blend I'm giving her today is something that I prepared, I don't know, last week, maybe the week before, and it's been in the freezer. So when I make a blend for Elin, I don't just make one serving, I make multiple, and then I freeze it. So of course, you need to, for food hygiene standards, you need to heat it up to piping hot, and then Elin doesn't like hot food, she wants her food room temperature, so now it's cooling down. Up and down, up and down. But anyway, that's done. I need some snuggles, Elin, and to calm down a bit. Yes, because I'm not a big fan of shopping. And we have been shopping today, haven't we? Yes. Welcome to the vlog and welcome to ParentXP. This is my daughter Elin. She has cerebral palsy, seizure disorder and complex medical needs. I'm Tova, single working special needs mum. We are half of ParentXP. The other half are Elin's little sister Alice, who is a most amazing special needs sister. Isn't she? Is your sister Alice brilliant? Yeah, she is brilliant. And my lovely cat Luca, who's currently on her cat tower up there. If you are new to this channel, then please hit the subscribe button. And if you like our videos, then share them and make sure that we are seen by others. Thank you, really appreciate that. Today has been a mummy-daughter date with just Elin, which is very, very rare. Partly it's rare because I hardly ever have each girl one-on-one anymore, and when I have, it's mostly because Elin's in respite care, so I have one-on-one with Alice, as you saw a couple of vlogs ago. Partly it is rare because I don't take Elin out for things that much, and today really was a gamble because Elin is not feeling well. With her being out of the Alimemazine, this medicine that I mentioned earlier that is supposed to help her stop vomiting, she has been vomiting so much more, and she's also been sleeping so much less because that medicine makes her drowsy, and now she's not being made drowsy and therefore she doesn't sleep. She has a lot of spasms at night, she has seizures at night, she has really bad reflux, particularly when she's lying down, which she does at night. So even though I raise up her torso in bed, it's not enough. Yeah, so she's very, very tired today and she has been vomiting so much. So yeah, took a gamble. I took a gamble, but we had to go to Boots and they did have the medicine, so whew. And then we went into Next because at Next there is a toilet where I can get Elin into the room. It's not a changing places, that was just for me, but and if I do need to change Elin when I'm in that retail park, there is a changing places there, so I can, but I didn't need to today. She was fine until we got home. But there's a disabled toilet big enough for me on the wheelchair, and then there's also a coffee shop. So we went to a coffee shop, didn't we? Did we go to the coffee shop? Yeah! Did you like that? Was it fun? They were playing music and Mummy got coffee and cake. And what did you get? Say, I got strawberry and banana smoothie. Yeah! Yeah, and the staff there was so lovely because basically I'd forgotten to bring a snack for Elin. I'm like, she needs something. And they make their own smoothies. So what they did for us was they blended the smoothie extra long to make sure that it was perfectly smooth and would go through her tube with no problems, and it worked. It went through the tube absolutely fine. Elin enjoyed it. She didn't vomit, but she threatened to quite a few times. So we're sitting in a coffee shop. There's obviously other people around. Elin goes and half the coffee shop is turning around and staring at us, and I'm like, she's not sick. She just vomits. She does this. Don't worry about her. It sounds like she's dying. She's fine. And there's a part of me that has the attitude,
if you can't handle this, then you shouldn't be in the same public space that I am. Like, deal with it. I have a disabled child and I am allowed to take her outside, so you can just deal with it. And another part of me just kind of wants to sink into the background and disappear. I think my first attitude is healthier. It's very selfish, I realise that. It's probably not very popular of me to go, if you can't handle disabled people existing in this world, then you're the one who shouldn't go out. Because we are going to. We're allowed. But yes, we survived it. You didn't vomit. Nobody said anything. People tutted, but nobody said anything. Yeah. And the staff were lovely. And I felt much better after coffee. And then I went shopping. Because that was the other reason for going to the retail park, is I needed a few things. Lift going up. You can barely fit in here, Elin. This is such a tiny lift. Oh my god. Like, I'm literally glued to the wall, and the either end of a chair is at either end of the lift. I don't think I've ever used the lift in here. Lately, I have actually been investing in getting some clothes for me. Because over the last few years, I have lost a horrendous amount of weight, and it's not that easy for me to gain weight for a lot of different reasons, but I've always been very skinny, so that is kind of my body's go-to. So I want to be at least 2 sizes larger than I am, and I'm not. Because if I'm stressed, I lose weight. If I'm sick, I lose weight. If I don't eat, I lose weight. If I eat, I barely maintain my weight. Everything I do, my body goes, right, let's lose weight. And therefore, all of my clothes are 2-3 sizes too big. Or they are clothes that very kind people have passed on to me, and which I'm very grateful for. Basically, I own very little in the way of clothes that actually fit me and that I like. So lately, I have been on the lookout for clothes for me. And then yesterday at work, I discovered I had a big hole straight through the crotch on my work trousers, as well as a big hole on the knees. And I'm like, yeah, no, this won't do. You need a pair of work trousers. The trousers I'm wearing at the moment, I could wear for work, but these I bought at TK Maxx a couple of weeks ago, I think. I'm going to do such a girl thing here, right? You know, when you give a woman a compliment about her clothes, she will either tell you how little it costs, or she'll tell you that it has pockets. I went into TK Maxx and I found these trousers, and they were 10 quid. They were a bloody tenner at TK Maxx. And they have lots of pockets. They have pockets everywhere. So, thanks. They have pockets, and they only cost me £10. And yes, I could wear these for work. They're actually really good for work, but because I have so few clothes that I like and that fit me, I am going to be selfish and say these are mine. I'm not wasting them at work. So I needed to find another cheap pair of trousers for work, which I hopefully managed to do today. I've not actually tried them on. I'll do that later. I'll try them on later, but I think they'll be all right. And they were also only 10 quid. Actually, they were 9 quid at Sports Direct. So I only had to go into one shop, apart from, you know, Boots and Next. Because I also found my trainers at Sports Direct. I had this idea of getting a pair of white trainers because I have a few really lovely dresses that I like and that fit me. Plus, I bought another dress. I found a gorgeous Face 8 dress at a charity shop. So I bought it because I'm going on a date in May. We're gonna go and see Michelle Wolf at the South Bank Centre in London, and I'm super excited about that. And I wanted something really nice to wear, and I stumbled over this dress and I was like, oh my god. And then I realised that I have no shoes that go with it. Absolutely none. Because when I moved, I threw out everything that wasn't wearable, which meant that I threw out my black ballerina flats that were no longer black. And then I have some really, really lovely shoes. Particularly, I've got 2 pairs of Embassy London shoes, which is my favourite shoe brand. But one is bright pink and one is multicoloured in sort of gold and green and blue and a bit of pink, and the dress is black and red. So they won't work with that. And I don't wear heels anymore because my feet can't take it. So I've decided to embrace the mum fashion of white trainers. Dress and white trainers. So I needed to find myself a pair of white trainers. But I found a pair of Adidas at Sports Direct, and they were a decent price. And they're comfortable and they look good. And so I have now bought myself a pair of trainers, and I bought myself a pair of work trousers, and now my shopping anxiety is... So we had to go home. Yes, we did. We had to go home. Your carer, the lovely Caitlin, is turning up in about 15 minutes.
or so. And I am still a bit anxious. And your lunch is cooling down. So what I want to do right now, Elin, if that's all right with you, is I want to turn on my audiobook. Do you want to listen to a bit more Rivers? You like the Rivers books, don't you? Rivers of London, Ben Aronovich, bloody love them. I are particularly on Audible. They're amazing. So we're going to listen to that, and we're just going to sit and snuggle, and Mummy's going to calm down. And then when Caitlin turns up, and Mummy's going to tackle the mountain of washing up, do a load of laundry, be an adult and pay the council tax, and then possibly look into what is needed for my driving license change of name and address. Does this sound acceptable to you? And you get snuggles. So these are the trousers I bought for work, and I mean, they're not brilliant, but I'm only going to wear them for work, so I don't really care. Like, I don't waste a lot of money on work clothes because they're going to get bashed up and covered in disgustingness, so they will do. These are the trainers. Ta-da! And those I am really happy with. And one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and try them on with the dress and see what that looks like. But I'm not showing you right now. Terribly sorry, but somebody else has the right to see that dress first before it goes all over social media. So if you want to see it, you're going to have to follow me on either TikTok or Instagram, because I'm pretty certain there will be some photos of the day up there when it happens. Okay? It works. Really works with the dress. But now it's PJs o'clock and I need to play domestic goddess for a bit. So I'm going to do that, and then I have loads of washing up to do. So much for my early night, isn't it? However, the rest of my day with Elin, that's where we were, wasn't it? We came home and we snuggled up, and I had given her first dose of Alimemazine while we were still out. So by the time we got home, she was starting to feel quite drowsy, because as I'm sure I mentioned, this medicine does make her a bit drowsy. And then Caitlin arrived and took over the Elin snuggles while I sorted out some bits and pieces, you know, adulting life, things you have to do. And then it was pretty much time to go and pick Alice up from school. So that was our next task on the to-do list. At that point, Elin had utterly lost her sense of humour. She was done with the day. She was 3 of the 7 dwarves. She was dopey, sleepy and grumpy, okay? She'd had it. So she stayed with her carer but at her dad's. And I went and got Alice, and we went to the playground, and we've just had a really lovely afternoon together, Alice and I. And then it was time for me to drop Alice off at her dad's, because I start work at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I can't have them tonight, they have to be with him. And then I'm picking them up again tomorrow after school. And it's a bitty week. My rota is not very childcare friendly this week. And that really annoys me, because I want to have them longer blocks rather than having one night here, one night at dad's, one night here, one night at dad's. I don't think it's good for any of us, to be perfectly honest. It's been 2.5 years now I've been trying to get this message across. I guess when I am able to have just me and Elin, you know, our mummy-daughter dates look very different from the ones I have with Alice, because they are very, very different children with very different needs. And Elin doesn't interact in the same way that Alice does. She doesn't demand in the same way as Alice does. She is obviously more demanding, if I'm allowed to say that about my daughter. You know, her needs are what they are. They're very complex, and you can't pretend that they're not there. But then at the same time, you know, she's not going to go, Mummy, buy this, Mummy, let's go here, Mummy, let's do this, Mummy, I want time at the playground. She's probably just mostly going, Mummy, I want cuddles. And we do cuddles. We were very good at managing cuddles. And it was nice. It was really nice to have some one-on-one time with my big girl as well, because, you know, mostly we have that when she's in hospital. And it's not quite the same thing. But hopefully I'll be able to get a bit more sleep tonight without an Elin who wakes me up. However many times it was. Sleep is not her strong suit at the moment, which is another reason why she gets very tired. But I really should go and wash up first. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the vlog here, because it's not all that interesting to look at the back of my head while I stand and do the washing up. And my kitchen is not laid out in such a way that I can wash up and talk to the camera. But I hope you enjoyed my little mummy-daughter date with Elin, just as much as you enjoyed my mummy-daughter date with Alice a few episodes ago. Vlogs. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a like and leave a comment. And as I mentioned earlier, do look me up on TikTok and Instagram. Those are the social media platforms where I'm currently active, and I'm really trying to grow, so it would be very helpful. And I will see you again in the next vlog. Have a beautiful night. Bye.